Hello students, I am Jasveer, your English teacher. Today I am here with my second video based on the chapter The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. In my previous video, I gave you an overview of the same chapter through a mind map. And today I am going to explain this chapter page by page as I promised in my previous video. So kindly keep your notebooks open for this. First of all, as you can see over here, there are some words which have been highlighted by me. So these are the words which I think can be difficult for you, and before I start with the explanation of the chapter, I will give you the meanings of these difficult words. So let's start with the first word, which is wrinkled. Wrinkled means full of creases, full of wrinkles. Then the next word we have is portrait. So here it has two meanings. It can be a painted or photographed picture of someone. And the second meaning of the same word, it can be a written description of someone's personality. The next word you can see over here is mantelpiece, which means a shelf above a fireplace. Then we have revolting, which means hard to accept. Undignified. Undignified means lacking dignity, means lacking respect. Prophets. Prophets means spiritual leaders. The next word we have is absurd, which means completely illogical. And then we have fables, which means old stories with morals. So these are the words which can be difficult for you on this page. Now let's move to the second page. On the second page, as you can see over here, the very first word is hobbled. Hobbled means moved unsteadily, or you can say moved with difficulty. Then we have this word beads, which means a small ball shaped body such as pearls. Rosary. It is a string of beads used for praying, mala. Then we have this word silver locks, which means curled, white or grey hair. Puckered. Puckered means wrinkled because of age. Then we have this word expanse, which means spread. The next word is serenity, which means complete calmness. Then we have this word contentment. It means satisfaction. Monotonous. Monotonous means something unchanging, boring, you can say. Then we have this word earthen, which means something made of soil, or you can say mud. Stale. Stale means something not fresh. That is called stale. The next word is chorus, which means in a group. Scriptures. Scriptures mean religious books. And then we have this word growling. Growling means a low noise made by dogs. This is what it means here. So I must let you know that in this video I will explain the first two pages only, and the next two pages will be explained in the next video. So now let's start with the explanation. The name of the chapter, it has already been mentioned, The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. So the This chapter, The Portrait of a Lady, is autobiographical in nature, as it describes the author's association with his grandmother and the changes that came about in their relationship. It is a loving tribute from a grandson to his grandmother, where he recalls the emotional bond he shared with her. On reading it, the reader is forced to evaluate his own relationship with his grandparents and to reflect on the reasons for the growing isolation of elders and family. So, the students, the chapter begins with the author's recalling of his grandparents. He lets us know that his grandmother was old, wrinkled, short, fat, and slightly bent. She used to walk with one hand on her waist, telling rosary beads with other hand. दूसरे हाथ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਾਲਾ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਫੇਰਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੀ. Her lips would keep on moving in inaudible prayers, those prayers which cannot be audible, which you cannot hear. She was so old that one could not even believe that she could be ever young. She would wear spotless white clothes. She had silver hair and her face represented peace, contentment, purity, and beauty. The author lets us know a bit about his grandfather as well. His grandfather, who had died by the time the author was born. His portrait could be seen hanging on the wall with white flowing beard, big turban, and loose fitting clothes. The author tells us about his bonding with his grandmother in 3 phases. So let's start with the first phase. The first phase starts when they both were living in the village and the author's parents were working in a city. It was the best time of their friendship. The author's grandmother, she would wake him up in the morning. She would make him bath, dress him, and gets him ready for school. She would accompany the author to his school, which was attached to a temple. The temple where the priest used to teach the students. The grandmother there, she would read holy scriptures in the temple while the author studied in the school. They both would walk back home, feeding chapatis to the village dogs on the way after the school closes. So this was the first phase of their bonding, of their friendship. Now let's talk about the phase 2, which was a turning point in their friendship. The second phase starts when the author and the grandmother, they shifted to the city to live with the author's parents. They both shared the same room there, but still the grandmother started feeling isolated there. Now the author would go to school, and he would go to an English school by a bus. So the grandmother would no more accompany him to the school. The grandmother there, she didn't like English, science, those subjects taught at the school. She was quite disappointed that there was no teaching of religion in that school. And she hated the idea of teaching music in that school, as she believed that music does not belong to gentlefolk. So these are the first 2 phases of the bonding between the author and the grandmother. Now, in the next video, I will explain the next 2 pages of the chapter in which we will come to know about the phase 3. So, till that time, enjoy your time, be safe. Thank you.